All right, let's see if this is going to work now. Sorry about that, everybody. I don't know. It kept saying mobile streaming, so I do apologize for whatever was going on. I was talking to myself apparently for about 20 minutes, so I will restart that. Thanks, everybody that was on before. Hopefully, I can get you guys back like iFOMO and all that. Hopefully, you guys find me again. I just want to apologize for that, whatever happened before. But yeah, typically it would be 9 o'clock. Apparently, I've been talking to myself for 20 minutes, so we'll apologize for that. We'll kick it off again here when it comes down to what I was discussing. But once again, we will be changing now to 9 p.m. Central Time. 9 p.m. will now be the real time. I don't know why this thing was saying mobile, so I had to completely delete it and restart it. I don't know how I got a mobile stream, but so yeah, 9 p.m. will now be the new start time for live because of daylight savings time. I forgot about it this week. My wife did yeah, I was. Did you see me at all, iFOMO? Because I mean, I was typing, but I mean, it wasn't showing up, so it was just kind of weird. But yeah, my wife's company is in Arizona, so their time changed. They don't change with the time, so we did. So that's gonna definitely change me 9 until November. So we're gonna just go with this now for the new start time. Once again, yeah, I was talking, and then all of a sudden I saw that the thing wasn't showing up. It said mobile mode or waiting for mobile connection, which I've never done anything on my cell phone on here in my life. So that was a little bit interesting. Evolving Skies, $600. Yeah, I did see that it finally got, I don't know if it got there yet or it was right on the edge of it. I think all the new listings were at $600. But Alex, has there been an actual sales for it? Market Scraper, thank you so much for joining on. It never went live. That's what I thought. Okay. Well, at least now I'm seeing everybody. Thank you guys for joining me. Today we're going to go talking a little bit more. We're chilling a lot. I could see you guys chatting and saying hi, but I thought you were seeing me, and then all of a sudden I realized it wasn't showing up. So I will apologize for that. We got it figured out now. I just had to restart the live. So make sure you guys hit that like too. Greatly appreciate it. Get this going. So today we're going to be talking a little bit. I was talking about the kind of the little truths that must be said sometimes. You know, a lot of times when you see these channels, and even mine, I'm guilty of it just as much as everybody else, is that we do talk about the best things, the good things, what we're doing that's being successful. You know, even like my channel tends to be more of a vlog than it is just investment advice, and I talk about what's going on in the market. But a lot of times I think that we get lost sometimes with that thought process that everything's going to go great, everything's going to work out well for everybody, that no matter what you do in Pokemon, there's opportunity, and there is. I mean, there is a lot of opportunities in the Pokemon market. There's a lot of places that you can go, you know, expand and change and have really good success. And hey, Gimbo Slice, yeah, sorry about that. Sorry about everybody. Once again, sorry everybody. I got it fixed. Apparently it was in mobile, waiting for me to join in on my cell phone. I don't get it. But yes. So what I was discussing and what I want to discuss today with everybody on the live is just talking about sometimes those darker holes, those darker sides of Pokemon that we don't really discuss. And not just in Pokemon, but in general, there's a lot of opportunities, and there's a lot of times that people start businesses. There's a lot of times people try to expand and grow and have opportunities. And let's just be 100% honest. They just don't work out. I see a lot of toxicity in the chats. There's a lot of people talking about the issues that they've had. There's a lot of people talking about how, and there is no investment opportunity in Pokemon. It doesn't exist. And Pokemon's not investment. And there's all these things that are continuing to grow, which we kind of knew that this was going to happen in a way. I mean, myself, I've even put that out in videos a couple times that, you know, this is going to be a continuing problem, a continuing issue that we're going to continue to see kind of roll through the Pokemon hobby, is that as more and more people get upset or things don't work out, and as things kind of go wrong, that more and more people get toxic towards the hobby. But today I want to be sitting here talking about what the truth is, and that should be said no matter what. And the fact is that 78% of all businesses fail, guys. If you're going into a Pokemon business and you're trying to take that shot, take that opportunity, build a LCS, build an online business, a TikTok, a box break, whatever you're trying to do, selling singles, selling graded cards, selling sealed product, whatever the opportunities are that you see that you're trying to grow when it comes down to a Pokemon business, they're not going to be always successful. There's a lot of times when it comes down to a business that we always say it's about 25% perseverance. It's 25% strategy and doing it, and it's 50% luck. Let's just be honest. You can do as much as you want, and no matter what, even if it's at home, even if it's wherever you're at, if you're putting money out there with the intent of turning that money into more money, whether your profit margin's 10%, 15, 20%, whatever it is, and you're trying to do that, and you're trying to grow that business, the chances are is that you are going to have a failure somewhere along that way. Now, when it comes down to a business, usually it seems like those failures can be catastrophic. So that's why a lot of times, even like if you're a hobby business, you get a little bit of advantage compared to an LCS. And that's why the more that you kind of neck down and the more that you're cautious about how you do your businesses, the more you can be successful. LGSs, LCSs are just another situation where getting to a brick and mortar can be extremely dangerous. And that's where you're at the extreme end of, anything could cause a failure at that point in time. You could be an at-home business and start putting money on credit cards or take a loan out to try and grow inventory in order to be successful. And that's another place where you could put yourself on a limb where you won't be successful. These are all big situations and big talking points that we could have when it comes down to how Pokemon operates and how it will go. And as much as I would like to see everybody succeed, I think that everybody has a chance to succeed. But a lot of times positioning yourself in the wrong place, picking the wrong product to put a lot of money in and putting a lot of trust into different places could cause some issues. Now, even in the investing side, so I see a lot of people sitting here saying, you still hear it. You're going to hear it forever. I don't know how many years you have to be successful at Pokemon investing before it becomes an investable item. I don't know what that is. I mean, it's been 2019 for me, so we're going close to 5 years now, and I've had good success in investing in Pokemon products. Now, granted, there was that boost during the boom, and I won't argue that. That was a fantastic time, but we've still seen it continue to cascade and move forward since then. People are never going to like it. People are never going to be happy with it. People are always going to point out that this is a kid's game and you should let the kids have fun. This is just a game and there's no investment potential. There's no opportunity. It's all risk in Pokemon and it could all collapse. And the fact is that that's the same for almost all investments. There aren't too many investments out there that give you 100% security. There's always an inherent risk on every investment that you'll make. The darker side is that you do pick the wrong items. You went and bought Battle Styles at $183 a booster box and you went big in it because you thought it was going to be the next best thing. Those are situations that become very difficult and where you can get yourself pinched. There are definitely opportunities you could pick the wrong items, and that's just a big inherent risk when it comes down to investment. You could pick the wrong singles. You could buy thousands of singles, a promo, a certain particular card that you think is going to do great. You put big money into it thinking it's going to be fantastic, and it just goes nowhere. It never becomes popular. It never gets any traction or fan favorite. You're waiting for that Black Swan event to really drive that price up. And these are all situations that could happen as well. So it's always an inherent risk, and there's always risk in any kind of thing you do. You could put all your money in the stock market on, some good penny stock. You could put $10,000, $100,000 in that stock because it's the next best thing, and it never pans out. The business goes broke. So these are all situations and areas that you could see happen and be a problem. And the same thing with real estate. You could go and buy real estate and the whole market collapse. We could have another housing bubble burst like back in 2008, where it took years to recover from that. And a lot of people went broke because there was no opportunity to sell that they were doing. They were holding for 2 years and they were selling a property, and then they were taking that property and paying off the mortgage on it, paying on the mortgage on another thing just to kind of keep moving forward to buy more real estate. And when that chain gets disrupted and when that problem happens, it doesn't work. So any investment inherently has risks, and the risks are definitely to be assessed, and making good assessments on them are there. Some people aren't going to be successful investing. You could watch every single investment channel out there, and if you were to pick certain items, even myself, not all of my investment items work out. Not all of them are 100%. They're all ideals. They're all ideas that I'm seeing, and these are all ideas that I'm purchasing into because I do potentially see value in them. The other problem is to investment and even in business is sometimes when it comes down to like a hobby Pokemon business, being able to stick it out through harder times, through those more difficult times, a lot of people won't do that. In investment side, how many people on average you think would be able to hold a case of Evolving Skies for 5 to 10 years? In 10 years, let's just go 10 years. How many people in this chat right now, let me know in the comments, think that they could hold on to Evolving Skies for 10 years? If you bought it at 130, $99, even at $180, $200 a booster box, and you're now holding a case of that. Who is actually planning or think that they'll be able to hold on to that for 10 years? I don't think that it's very common. And I think there's a lot of people out there that probably think that they can. A lot of people may say that they can, but being able to actually do that is another thing. It's very difficult to actually stay the course and let that investment mature and actually see where it goes. Now, do I think that I'll hold on to Evolving Skies for 10 years? I'll probably keep a case. I'm not going to keep all 5. I can tell you that. I'm going to be selling those pretty quickly, just because, I got better things that I could be putting that money into, and I could reinvest into another thing. But there's a lot of people out there when it comes down to Pokemon investments, say, just put it in your closet for even 5 years. How many people could hold it for 5 years? Most people won't. Most people will not last that long. And that's where you talk about the value of these booster boxes futuristically. People are like, oh, people got whole houses full of this product and they're going to be flooding the market. There's going to be no value in the future. The fact is that sealed product is one of those items that I do feel really comfortable with, because the fact that longevity wise, people don't keep things sealed. Let's be honest. Some people trying to keep things sealed is just impossible to them. And that's just what it is. I mean, there's a lot of people that will have no problem holding on, and they will sit on it, like myself. I put it in totes so I don't see it. If I don't see it, I tend not to be able to not to open those products. But if I do see them and they're always in my face, if I open the closet, if I was a person that kept it in the closet, every time I open the closet, there in the corner is a booster box of Evolving Skies. What's the chances I'm going to go, maybe that Moonbreon's in there that's now going in, let's say 2 years in the future is going for $1,200 now. Are you going to be able to keep resisting the urge to open up that box? Or are you going to open up that box and end up with a alternate art, whatever, some low end alternate art that's only worth maybe a couple $100? And that box was actually worth close to $2. These are all factors that you need to consider when you're looking at investment long term, that a majority of people will not be able to do that. Most people will not last that long, and that's just how it works. And it's really, really interesting to see, toxicity of the hobby where, as the markets get difficult. We all predicted this Scarlet and Violet was not going to be an easy run. The changeover was not going to be an easy change. Nobody likes change. People don't like change. That's just how it works. And as you continue to watch and see things change, and as the hobby changes, we're going to see another, I just saw what we were getting. So we're getting a new rarity coming up here in the next sets. These are all going to be interesting points to where the hobby turns. Sometimes it takes the next best rarity to really drive the set that one step forward that we're not seeing. Sometimes we need to give it time for some of these sets. Once again, we talk about investing all the time. You have to let things mature. This isn't 2020. This isn't Sword and Shield. This isn't a lot of these opportunities that people are thinking are there. It's going to be grinding. If you want to be successful in this hobby and you want to get out of that dark side of the hobby, you need to be willing to grind. You don't realize how many hours we stand behind here that we don't show. We don't put it on the camera. We don't have time. If I were to do a YouTube channel just following the number of hours that I spend researching on Pokedata.io, or that I'm on TCG Player, or that I'm on eBay, or that I'm just watching TikTok lives to see what's selling and where the popularity is of sets right now, you would be bored to tears. These channels would be absolutely boring, and they would lose a lot of viewers just because of the fact that you'd be sick of watching me pack my shipping products and dealing with customer service because a package went missing in the mail, or it got damaged in shipping because, well, absolutely USPS sucks when it comes down to their machines, and they got that envelope stuck sideways and ground it down to nothing. I mean, I've gotten some of the most obscure things that come up, especially now that I've probably sold or sent more than 10,000 envelopes through TCG Player, and now through TikTok, I've probably sold close to 480 packages through there. The weirdest thing continually happens, and this is just the nature of the beast, is that we spend a lot of time, even in business for HVAC. A lot of people think that, even outside of the business, think that you're doing fantastic. Oh, you must be so happy. You get so much time off. You get to do what you want because you're an owner. You can do whatever you want. Doesn't work that way. You are doing a lot of stuff, and it's a lot of hours. It's a lot of time at home, spending on a computer, building a rapport, building with people, continuing to do these things over and over and over again. And it's the same with any kind of business when you're talking about the Pokemon hobby. whether you're going for an LCS and trying to build that LCS, or if you're trying to go through and actually do a at-home business, if you're just trying to do investment and sit on sealed product, whatever your path is in Pokemon, there's great opportunities, but just know the inherent risk of each one of them. Really sit down and analyze it. And I've said it on this channel, and I'm going to say it again because it's been a while since I've said it. Budget. Budget, budget, budget. You would be amazed at how many times, even with me with a $1 million business to this Pokemon business, that I sit down and budget. When I started working on TikTok, every month I sat down and did a profit loss statement. I went through and I made sure that I was not overspending, because it's the little things that kill you. It's the little things that you don't consider. It's all those envelopes you bought. It's all those bubble mailers you bought. It's the shipping that you paid for. It's the gas to go and drop off those envelopes. It's all those little things, that time that's consumed by those particular things that you don't consider when you're running a business, even when you're running a collection or a hobby business. And when you get down at the end of the month, you sometimes lay these numbers out on the counter and you really, really look at them and you realize, crap, I lost money. I didn't charge enough on that pack of cards or that single or those graded cards, because by the time I paid to ship it, by the time I paid for the bubble mailer, by the time I paid for the protecting, the little envelope that, or the little plastic envelope cards or protectors that I put it in, the top loaders, the, all the things that just accumulate over time that seem like they're so minute. Well, yeah, it's 3 cents for that little, for that top, or for a penny sleeve, or it's a penny for the penny sleeve. It's 3 cents for that little protective envelope that you put on top of the, or put the graded slabs in. It's 5 cents for that little plain white envelope. It's 16 cents for the bubble mailer. It's, all these things that just keep accumulating. And when you're doing it 100 to 200 times a month, it's a big expense, and it will really actually catch up to you if you're not cautious about that. So it's one of those things. We really, really, really need to watch those things. And when you're trying a new venue, so you're comfortable on TCG Player and you're doing plain white envelopes, you got that shipping dialed in, you got everything dialed in on there, and all of a sudden you go, well, I'm going to go start selling, on TikTok, and I'm going to start selling on eBay, and I'm going to start selling on Instagram now because they have a shop. I'm going to start selling on Facebook. Every time I switch an avenue, I would highly suggest anybody to stay away from going to the darker side where you're not successful. Sit down every single month for the first 6 months. Then you can go, like I do every quarter after I'm done with that. I usually do 1 month every quarter just to double check and verify that everything's going well. But every month for the first 6 months, check that profit and loss. Put everything in, all your expenses. Make a separate bank account and see what your expenses were, because the other thing is I see a lot of people doing now, and I saw my friend actually just do this. He sent out 150 cards for grading. Great. He wanted to get a bunch of cards up for his eBay store. He wanted to build that. He wanted to take the opportunity to build that eBay store and have that Pokemon sales that he was looking for. So he sent 150 cards off to PSA. Well, guess what just came out? Temporal Forces came up. So he put all his pre-orders in for Temporal Forces. He took everything that he could and he bought all these different products for Temporal Forces because he's been selling sealed products for a long period of time online. Great. He's doing great. He's buying all this stuff. He's all locked and loaded for the Temporal Forces pre-release. He's getting his product in next week. Well, guess what just happened? PSA tried to pull the money for his graded cards and he didn't have it. He didn't have it because he forgot all about those things. And that's another aspect of it. When you're trying to multitask, when you're trying to build this big spectrum and these big directions when it comes down to the hobby and where you want to be, that's another factor that a lot of people don't consider is that some don't charge you right away. Some will take your bank account information or your credit card information and they'll charge you when they ship. That's exactly what happened to him. He had 100 cards out, $1,500 that he needed to pay plus shipping to get them in. Some of them were higher grade, so they upped his price on the actual cards. And he's like, he was in trouble. He had to try and figure out, he had to sell a bunch of stuff real quick. And that's where we see people. And then he panic sells because then he's trying to sell things fast. So he's selling it cheap just to get it out, doing that panic sell that we could all do and get into that situation. And that's a big problem that you can continue to run into if you're not cautious on how you set things up and how you're actually operating when it comes down. So once again, every month, sit there and budget, make sure that you keep track of those offsite items so that you are successful. I would love to see 100% of people that watch my channel be successful in whatever they do in the Pokemon hobby. The chances are is that A lot of you won't. Overall, in first 5 years are really going to be a big toss up. I think that there's getting to be enough people in this hobby now, enough people that even watch this channel. I mean, I've seen some people on here for a long period of time, and that is where we see the situations where you can be successful. And I think a lot of people in the chat, even now, I've seen you guys for years. I think you're probably settled in pretty well, that you're pretty good at what you're doing and you're going to have success. But I'm also pointing this to anybody new. People that are new to this hobby and are not familiar with Pokemon business or Pokemon investing, go by month, take small steps, use expendable money. It seems like a really big, circle of things that we continue to say, especially on my channel. I say this a ton. And if you're on my channel and if you're new here and if you just hit that subscribe, know that I say that quite a bit. Expendable money, credit cards can be used, but use them appropriately. Don't carry balances over the month. Get that credit card, use it, get that cash back, whatever you're trying to do, pay it off right away. So that way you can take advantage of some of those things. Separate bank accounts, definitely a big thing. Make sure that I've started doing that about 4 years ago, is that I separate my bank account. I put this all in its own bank account just so I could track it, keep track of my sales, and be able to really just take all I do is I take my monthly statement from my bank account when I move into something new. I pull all the expenses out of that and I really lay them up. And that's a big thing that you really need to consider when you're building up in this hobby. So if you're new here and you're just following this channel, if you're just getting in the hobby, welcome. Just take very cautious things. The free tendies aren't here anymore, guys. There isn't that room for mistake. And I know I've heard PK, I've heard a lot of people talk about that, even Dan and Catch 'em All, that there isn't that cushion any longer. 2020 to 2023, there was tons of cushions. There were bumpers all over the place to keep people in line. But as we get further away and as this normalized market continues to go, those bumpers are starting to disappear. The bumpers are going and everybody's going to start going all different directions. So that is going to be a long-term consistent problem, is that people are used to the bumpers. People are going to try something new. You're going to jump into TikTok. You're going to jump into eBay. You're going to jump into a new sales platform to try and be more open or more out there to get more traffic at your stores and get those opportunities. And you don't have the bumpers anymore. We don't have that market that's able to really catch you and keep you in the lines that, oh, well, I bought Chilling Reign really cheap and I waited 1 year and all of a sudden it's double in price. 2 years later, it's double in price. Those bumpers are going to disappear. And it's going to be a lot more difficult to stay in those lines and keep it in direction. It's going to be up to you to do that more than it is the forgiveness of this market. The forgiveness of the Pokemon market is slowly going away. There's great opportunities. There's great growth. There's still a lot of things going on. Everybody still loves opening packs. People are enjoying the hobby. People are loving to build collections. People are loving to buy those chase cards. But in general, those bumpers will disappear. The bumpers are going to get harder and harder and harder to come by. And the forgiveness in this market is going to slowly disappear over time. And it's going to be really interesting to see through 2024 and 2025 what this Pokemon hobby is going to bring. New rarities could change the market again. We could see an uprising. We could see things open up or get those bumpers back with new rarities and more people chasing chase cards. Overall, I don't think the Pokemon hobby is going anywhere. It's just going to be a matter of, to be successful, you're going to have to become more smart and more strategic on what you do. Stay expendable if you're at home hobbies. Don't take loans. Don't use your credit cards. Don't max out credit cards. Don't use your rent to try and pay for that item. Be a little bit more smart on that fact and you'll do just fine. Do like I do on the investment side. It's been a really good buffer for me for years, is just buy, whether it's 4 booster boxes, whether it's 4 cases, whether it's 4 pallets, whatever you do on that fact, use that as your way to reduce that cost on your shelf for your investment long term. The faster you can get money back sometimes and keep rolling it back into yourself, the more successful you can be. Like I've said for years, I buy 4 cases with the intent of keeping 1. I'll buy 6 cases with the intent of keeping 2. I use those 4 to try and keep 2 on the shelf with no cost. That way I don't have any cost basis. It's a great way to be successful on investments. Same thing with business. If you can pay for stuff and use, whatever you're selling to buy 2 of the next thing and trying to keep that cost basis as low as possible, it's even better off. That's definitely a good path to go. So once again, I went a little bit longer in my talk tonight. That's what I've got for you guys. Once again, as you're kind of growing and as you're continuing to work into this hobby and continuing to move forward, it's definitely going to be one of those factors that I think people need to consider. I'm going to move this up so I can see the chat bar, find out where we're at. I know I missed a bunch of chats as I always do at the beginning here, so I'm going to go back through the chat. Like I said, anybody that's got any questions tonight, you know, even with the topic or anything like that, please let me know, and we can definitely go back over anything, or we can discuss it a little bit further. That's fine. I love to have the discussions on things. So first one we got, of course, iFOMO. Thank you so much for joining. Once again, greatly appreciated to have you here. Yes, I did go about 20 minutes before I saw the thing was not working. So yeah, I'm sorry to anybody that went to the first live. It was doing something where it wanted like mobile. It was trying to do it off my mobile phone, and I don't know how when I set this all up on my computer. So I don't know why it was trying to get my mobile phone to hook up. So I don't know if I hit a button or a setting, but I did a new one and it came right to where it's supposed to be. Alex Ryder, Evolving Sky, $600 a box. Now that was what I was going to look at here. Let me check real quick, because I know it was moving, and I know all the boxes were listed above it, so I'm just going to check. I'm just typing it into Pokédata real quick. I'm going to pull up my... It's quicker for me just to pull up my booster boxes quick and see where we're at. So it looks like we did have quite a few of them. We're actually cooking right up there now. So looks like we're about 313 market value right now between eBay and TCG Player. So, or 613, sorry, 613. But there have been some sales looking point-to-point data. We're looking at, there was some at 800 on TCG Player. So someone bought a booster box at 800, one at 699. I'm just looking at the point data. I mean, we're seeing boxes sell at 777, 753. We got 3 boxes sell at $777. I mean, 630. Let me go to TCG Player real quick. So I'm just going to check out real quick. What's the next listed one? I always like going to TCG Player and checking the next listed, because a lot of times that'll be a factor for it. This might be $1,000 box here, guys, by next month, the way this is going out up. So it looks like the next one that we got is going to be factory sealed. So $700 is going to be the next box that's available. So Evolving Skies, then the next one after that is going back to about $700 plus $8, $9. So $709, $710. So yeah, Evolving Sky is going absolutely crazy all of a sudden again, which I told you, this would be the time that if you wanted to sell these boxes at a max dollar amount, this would definitely be the opportunity to do it, because tax returns are coming, guys. This is where we will see a really big pop when it comes down to these booster box sales, and when people are willing to spend things more is right now. Now, the question is will this continue futuristically, or is it going to be dropping out after we see this expendable money kind of disappearing for tax returns? Will the sales maintain, or will we see a retraction again on that price? I don't personally like, so I'm looking at the graph, and the graph is just straight up like a rocket, which always, to me, always leads to a correction at some point here. But then again, with Evolving Skies the way it is, people may not move on price. They may just stay on it. They may not lower their price to sell it, because at this point, it's all secondary market, pretty much. Not too many LCSs, not too many businesses are holding on to it, so it's definitely going to be a factor on that. Let's see. iFOMO, yeah, chilling in the lobby. Sorry about that. Everybody was chilling. Gimbo, thank you so much for jumping in. Like I said, Market Scraper, thank you so much for jumping in as well. Just going down the chat here, trying to get caught up. Hey, Civic, hopefully you're doing well. I haven't seen you for a little bit. Glad to see you here. Let's see. So we got physical LCSs just seem suicidal to me with rent right now. Yeah, exactly. LCS, LGS, whatever you want to call it. I feel that if you don't own the market space that you're in, and I feel that if you're paying rent or going to get a new rent agreement, an LCS is going to become very, very, very difficult. I'm kind of curious, if I were to talk to Mason, what Mason's feelings are right now, if his rent's going up or if he owns his buildings. I'm not sure on that. Let's see, iFOMO, I would have sold it for $450. Yeah, so I mean, a lot of people, some people said they would. Yeah, Grim the Nerd, thank you for joining in. Well, sorry about that. I don't know what that thing was doing. I do apologize. I'd rather sell and reinvest. That's what a lot of people will do. They'll either reinvest or they'll sell and they'll just keep the money. iFOMO, absolutely. This hobby is not easy. It's just, to us, it's a second nature. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, I always laugh because I always feel that PK always says the best, how far down the rabbit hole we are. The further you get down the rabbit hole, the easier it becomes. I mean, just because you start surrounding yourself with it and you start doing all these things, you tend to get to a point where you're just super comfortable and you see things as they're happening rather than you being reactive. You become more proactive to the situation. Just a reminder, everybody, I see there's 9 likes. I see there's 37 people out there. So make sure you guys all hit that like button too. It'd be greatly appreciated to help out the stream a little bit. Let's see. iFOMO. Let's see. Got past him. Furman, thank you so much for joining. Hey, with Evolving Skies going up, would that bring Korean Evolving Skies up with it as well? I don't know. Korean, from what I understand, and once again, I'm not a professional at the Korean or outside markets. I mean, by any means, but from what I've heard, that Korean version was printed to death. That's why that Moonbrion's the cheapest. Overall, the price is really down on that Korean version versus a lot of the other versions. So they, from what I've understood, and I think Opossum Bud just talked about it here last week, or maybe, late last week, that because he follows more of those outside markets. That's why I like listening to Opossum Bud a lot of times, is he knows the Japanese market. He's big in the Japanese. He watches Chinese, he watches Korean, he watches all these different markets, and he was saying that they really printed a ton of the Korean Evolving Skies. So there's a lot of it out there. I think when he was talking about the fake Eevee heroes that Pokevault opened, but he was saying that there was a lot of Korean out there, and that's why they used it as the filler for the Eevee heroes. Yeah, I mean, I've told him the same thing, but he just sends them direct himself to PSA. He doesn't use a middleman service, iFOMO, so that's why he got caught. Yeah, he had to sell some stuff, but he managed. Once again, he's growing, and he just got himself a little bit hung up on that fact, but it wasn't too big of a hang up. He was able to correct fairly easy. Gimbo, I'm about 4 months into it. Pretty exciting times to get in. Yeah, it is. It's very exciting. There's a lot of opportunity. There's a lot of growth potential here in this market. And if you're smart and if you're just strategic and you really, really stay to some really big keys, not extending what you have, making sure that you're being, consistent on what you're looking at, and try to stay to some real fundamentals, you can do really, really good in this hobby. And the further, the more YouTubers you listen to, the more I'm saying, I love you guys to all just be here and listen to me only, but I really do highly suggest listening to a whole array of different PokeTubers. I do it myself because sometimes they got a different perspective that will work better, and there's good opportunities in those. Brown CLM, thank you for joining us tonight. Greatly appreciated. Yeah, finally caught up to the live. My internet has been laggy. Hope everybody's well. Hopefully you didn't get caught in the other lobby with everybody else. I do apologize for that. Brown, what do we got here? My play is great for me. It's ridiculous. People never look around for a better price. I'm writing my play out as long as I can, and currently am. I had to dig deep and search hard for my play. And that's just it. There are a lot of plays. Digging deep and finding those specific plays are very, very good. Very, very good opportunities for that growth. And it's a really good thing that if you can find a good play and continue to hold on to it and harness it, it will do well. And you'll see some really good things futuristically on those particular things. I don't know what your play is, but if it's working good for you and you can dig it out and you can continue to drive it and hold on to it for a little bit and really, really wait for that to mature out, there's definitely some good things that could come from that. Gimbo, do you buy every set as an investment or do you concentrate on winners? Scarlet and Violet sets come out of the gate so cheap now. So, Gimbo, typically when I do it, I usually buy at least I hold one case of every single set. That's just me. Early Sword and Shield, I don't have anything left. Late, and all the way back in Sun and Moon, I sold out all my Sun and Moon during the boom because there's so much value in it at that point in time where I was. It was a great opportunity to really build my holdings. But I typically buy one of everything. So I have one case of Vivid Voltage. I only have a few booster boxes of Darkness Ablaze. I have like 2. You go back in the early Sword and Shield, it's just a couple booster boxes of each ones. But as I've continued to grow throughout the years, I've continued to try and hold more of each, but I try to hold one case of each, and then I really concentrate on specific ones. So I do go after specific sets harder than I do other ones. So for example, Evolving Skies is a good example of it. I went and bought 10 cases of Evolving Skies at $99 when it was out. Just because I thought, and I had every feeling and everything in my body said by what I was doing my analysis on that set and what it had to offer, how goated it was, all the opportunities that I could see inside of that set is that I saw no trouble with that thing doubling in 2 years. Even from $99, it was $104 cent. I put a lot of money into that set, hoping that it would do extremely well. And I sold half of it off at $185, which, some people say is a mistake, but it's still, at that point, that's where it was. And we got that reprint and went down to $135. We didn't know how big of a reprint, and I wanted to play it both ways. So I wanted to hold half and sell half. Another set that I actually do have a fairly good amount of stock in is Lost Origin. I now have 5 cases of Lost Origin. I have 5 cases of Brilliant Stars, and I have 4 cases now of Fusion Strike. So I key on specific sets that I think will do really well futuristically. I don't just buy 5 cases of everything. I buy 1 of everything. Even right now, like you said, with Scarlet and Violet doing the pricing it is, I'm buying a case every now and then of each one of those sets too. So I think I got 1 of Scarlet and Violet base. I've got 3 of Paldea Evolve, because I think Paldea Evolve will be really good. I've only got 1 of Obsidian Flame, and I've got 2 of Paradox Rift. So right now for my investments, that's where I'm kind of sitting on the Scarlet and Violet sets, just because I think that Paldea and Paradox Rift both have some really, really good artwork. They have some really, really good cards in it, and I think overall they'll do fantastic futuristically. We're already seeing Paldea Evolved pulling up. It actually crossed over the $100 mark. Obsidian Flame is also, so if you check out my video tomorrow, I'm going to talk about each one of the Scarlet and Violet sets and their performance in the last quarter. So this week's going to be a lot of just going over the last quarter on sets. So just so you know, yesterday's video, I did talk about cards this week, and let me know in the comments on that one if you want me to do it weekly. But this week I'm going to be talking about Scarlet and Violet, the first quarter here coming up in the year, and then also Sword and Shield. What have we seen in Sword and Shield when it comes down to the alternate art sets for this year? So that's going to be Friday's video. So, but yeah, that's currently my investments right now, just so you got an idea what I've got sitting around for investment-wise. Let's see, Nufo, thank you so much for jumping in again tonight. Greatly appreciated. I got laughed at when I mentioned I had 10 times Evolving Skies booster boxes with an average price of $250. Well, so I was laughing because Dan and I had I kind of laugh about it when it comes down to it, Pokenufo. So I did a video where I was sitting there doing analysis on Evolving Skies, and I was seriously, I said in the video, I would consider buying Evolving Skies, and it was $195 at the time. And I said, this was like a year and a half ago, or maybe 2 years ago now. But I did a video and I said, looking at Evolving Skies, looking at its trend, looking at everything I'm seeing, would it be a bad investment even at $195, $200 a booster box? You could go on right now. You can still dig them out. You can get them for about $190, $189. You could find some cases for. I said, is it a really bad investment? I remember Dan came onto that video, and Dan at Catch 'em All Collectible, he's like, absolutely not. Don't, there's comments still on there. Don't do it. I wouldn't put it in there. There's so many good opportunities to jump into that, something else at this point, Evolving Skies is potentially not going to move that far. And I didn't buy any because I already had 5 cases, but I was pointing it out that is it a bad investment at that point in time? And I still like kind of poking fun at Dan a little bit that that $195 wasn't that bad of an analysis at that point. It's just fun. Would I have done it at that point? Probably not. I mean, I was already into it at that point, and if I didn't buy it at 99, why would I buy it at 195? I mean, so that's just the facts of where we were at that point in time. But it was just kind of a comical looking back now, a year and a half or 2 years, whatever it was, where we are today. It's just a really funny statement that, yeah, there was some good investments even at $250. You could have done extremely well comparatively where it is, especially if we're going to cross $700 this week. I mean, that's a heck of an investment when you bought it at $250. That's for sure. Too soon. Yeah, that's what I was saying. There's 3 boxes sold So I was looking at this. We got one sold at $7.97. We got 2 boxes there and 3 boxes yesterday at $7.77 for that Gimbo. iFOMO. Hope it goes to 5K to see what everybody does. Lose their mind. That's what that'll do. There's so little on the market too. Less than 100 boxes. I know, it's crazy. I haven't even searched at eBay, but I'm looking at TCG Player, and I mean, there are literally 4 pages. So only 2 of them have that, and that means there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you got 10 per page. So on TCG Player right now, there are 30. So minus those 2. So there's 28 boxes available on TCG Player. And then once you get past the $700 range, there are a couple already listed at $1,500. So people have already positioned themselves for $1,500 in those boxes. Jason, is Brilliant Stars worth more per booster box than Origins because of the Charizard chase is stronger? Is that really it? Because they got both reprinted again, I believe. Origins is $200 Canadian, whereas Brilliant Stars is $280 to $300. So Brilliant Stars is a little bit older. That's another thing to consider too, is a little bit of age on those sets. Overall, they both have their advantages. I don't think the Tina is quite as strong as the Charizard. I think that's, you're going a Gen 1 alternate art versus a Diamond and Pearl alternate art. So a Gen 3 or 4. I'm trying to remember where Diamond and Pearl falls. I think that's Gen 3. So you're looking at a Gen 3 Pokemon versus a Gen 1 starter. That's always going to give it. Plus, it's a Charizard chase. Charizard chases always have a little bit going on. The one advantage that I think the Lost Origins really has, I think it would be a little bit closer. I mean, the Tina's good. I will agree that Devil Pokemon is definitely a big hit. Kind of like Mewtwo is the biggest, villain when it comes down to Pokemon, which always has a allure to it because of that. But I think that, the one advantage Lost Origins has, it really is keeping it afloat, is that Pikachu trainer gallery too. That's another consideration to take into Lost Origins on why I think they kind of balance out overall. So I think if they were about the same age, if they were released at the same time, I think that you would probably see them even closer in price. But I think that Charizard chase is going to give it just a little bit of an edge on the set itself. Plus, you got the Arceus inside of there. Overall, it does have a very decent trainer gallery, even in So Brilliant Stars is my number 2 favorite trainer gallery, number 1 favorite set of the trainer gallery sets. Lost Origins is my number 2 favorite set and number 1 favorite trainer gallery. So they both have their little edges and they both have their little advantages when it comes down to the sets themselves. I think in 5 years, you're going to see those 2 sets probably very comparable to each other. That's just my feelings on it. Yeah, people have crypto money in town too. I've got crypto money. I forgot I even have money in crypto. I gave up on it. I just let it sit because it went down so low. I just kind of forgot about my crypto account. I opened it up 2 days ago and I'm like, well, I got money in here again. Wow. Went way up again. Okay, I'm not going to complain too much. Let's see. iPhone, other languages have their own demand and supply. Yep. I think that they printed Korean to demand. And that could very well be. Like I said, if you want to know that, I would think if you were to send a message to a Possum Buddy, he'd probably be able to give you a little bit more heads up on that. I just know he does a lot with those outside Japanese, Chinese, all those different markets. He tracks them a lot more than I do because that's his thing. Mine's more English, and I do some Japanese. I mean, I've been getting more and more in the Japanese as I get further in the hobby. I enjoy it. I like the artwork a little bit better, and overall, I think that the print quality is just better when it comes down to it. So that's why I stick with it. Okie Poke, thank you for joining. I have learned to think outside the box for deals. Example, Walgreens, Dollar Store, Snorlax tins have Evolving Skies in them. You can get the tins for $15 3 packs. That's exactly it. I mean, another one outside the box is, these tins. And I've talked about them before here on the channel. These tins are another perfect example of how they're $14.98 right now. They're on clearance or sale at Walmart. $14.98, you get 2 packs of Evolving Skies. Literally, the Evolving Skies buys the tins, and then you get Brilliant Stars, and you're getting Fusion Strike inside of that tin. So all 4 packs inside of here are out of fairly decent or banger sets, so there's really good opportunity in those futuristically. Mom, what we got here? Would you buy into Evolving Skies at $600 a box? If I didn't have any, I'm going to be 100% honest. If I did not have any, I would. I would still buy into it. At $600 a box for what we're seeing for trend, I would maybe buy 1 box. I'm just going to say that. Maybe 1, 2 at the most. If I didn't have it, I would do that. And then I would wait. I would see what it does because, like I said, typically on graphs, seeing this straight up shot can get very concerning to me without having some kind of small like corrections along the way. So if you look at Evolving Skies through the last year, we see these little up and down pegs where they just kind of keep moving up slowly over time. Perfect example of it is their ETBs. Evolving Skies ETBs are a perfect example of it doing that. I think that you can see some really good value and see that. My concern is that at some point it's going to catch and it's going to correct. Someone's going to dump a large quantity of it out there. And I mean, a large, like a Rudy at Alpha Investments is going to dump hundreds of booster boxes out there when it hits a certain price. And we may see that correction. I could be wrong. Maybe they'll be smarter than that. But my concern is that there are a lot of people that have bought into Evolving Skies strictly as an investment. So people that may have bought them at $180 will take them and dump them at, right around now, around 800, 900, whatever they are. They might write it off until eventually it gets to a point where it gets too expensive again. When you see that, then they'll dump a bunch out and we'll see a correction. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't mind just cost dollar averaging. If you want to be safe, just buy them now, just kind of keep working your way up as they keep going. And then, there's a lot of different ways you could do it. It's hard to say how far that will run. But if I don't have any, I would probably purchase at least 1 booster box at this point because I know based on what I'm seeing on it, based on everything, this is going to be $1,000 box. It's just a matter of how long. Gimbo, I was too late to the party on a lot of Sword and Shield. I was able to get a bunch of cheap Lost Origins, though. Feel good about that set. I do too. Lost Origins, a really good set. I still wouldn't have a problem even right now buying it, for that $130, $135 range. Definitely don't have a problem buying Lost Origins. Brilliant Stars at that price all day, if you can find it right now. Otherwise, Pokemon Center still has it, $143.99. So I've picked them up even off of there. I feel pretty safe with them, even for box breaks and things like that. It's still a decent price to go grab them at that point. I'm buying a certain holiday set, buying at $40 and selling the promos for $35 and landing 6 packs for cheap. All Sword and Shield packs included, including Evolving Skies. And I think I know the holiday pack you're talking about. So yeah, that's a really good opportunity. That's what we were talking about too on one of the other lives, is just buying like the holiday calendars. They're on clearance right now for half price at like GameStop and things like that. And you can rip them open. The packs alone are way overvalued, plus the promos, plus the extra cards. You are making a lot of money just by breaking that product down and getting those packs out of there and selling them. Missed a couple here. Where'd I go? I scrolled too far. Gimbo, I got a box a month ago for $330. Pretty happy about that. Yeah, that's a great buy. Pokenufo, I would be more at 600. Looking about folks, hit that button. Yep. Pokey, please sum up the last 40 minutes. I wasn't here. So you could probably go back and watch it, but basically I was talking about how the little bit of the darker side of the Pokemon TCG. Some of the problems is that there's a lot of things happening, and persistence, and just like business, it's a little bit difficult, but be easier to go back and watch it and when you get a chance. So, are you looking into shorter sealed flips? Yeah. Greetings, level 1, sir. There he is. Let's see. Pokey, people call it a scam when prices crashed. It's supposed to be a currency, not an investment. Yeah. Gimple Slice, I FOMO. I just wanted a good year of year returns. If Evolving Skies hits 100K from flat lines for 2 years, that would be better to sell and put it into something else rather than wait for the next price jump. Exactly. If you're looking at a long-term investment, definitely some opportunities there. There's also some other things I think are going to do really well also. I mean, it's up to you what you're trying to do. It really comes down to your portfolio when it comes down to it. Let's see. Where was I? Saw Grim the Nerd here. Where'd I go? My thing went all the way to the bottom. Here we are. Okay. Yeah, Grim the Nerd. I still have a case of Quick Ball Poketins. Do I keep them sealed? If I rip it, I think I'll regret it. They have great pack selections. So personally, I've already kind of said this, Grim the Nerd. Maybe someone else in here can reaffirm that. I typically rip Pokeballs. I don't keep them sealed. Number one is that when you list Pokeballs, even on TCG Player, it's really hard to list the Pokeball based on the number on the bottom. They really don't give you that option. So eBay, you can do that. You could say it's a D21 tin. You can kind of separate it out. TCG Player, you can't. Number two, the longer that the packs sit in that spherical ball, the more issues you have with the packs themselves. They start to get damage on them for sitting inside of there. So I typically get them out, and then like I buy these boxes and I put all my packs inside of here too. I lay them flat inside of there, and then that way I can store them and then just base them by the set that they go into. So personally, I don't leave anything in Pokeballs. Like even my Cosmic Eclipse, I pulled it out of the Pokeballs. It just isn't worth leaving them in there with them sitting on the corners and then damaging the packs, damaging the cards inside the packs. Then if you do get a hit in them, the corners are wrecked. So then it doesn't really make a difference. There's already pre-damaged when it comes down to that. Other factor is that they're just airy. I mean, there's a lot of air, a lot of space inside of them, and then you could actually sell them Pokeballs. I've been seeing the Pokeballs actually selling on eBay, so you can sell lots of them. People sell like a lot of 10 for like $45 to $60, so you could actually make some money back on the Pokeballs too. The tins actually sell fairly well, or I guess that was about 3 weeks ago. I was seeing that. So, I don't touch OP. I know people have done well. Yeah. Let's see, trying to get caught up. Talking about One Piece. I'm not a big One Piece guy. I know a little bit. Brilliant Stars or Lost Origins? Brilliant Stars, personally. I'd buy both, but I'd go Brilliant Stars first. That's weird. Okay, looks like we got. Why aren't you holding in Softano? Why quick flip only? Trying to get up. Pokeballs take up so much space. Yeah, and damage packs, that's exactly it. It's a tactical piece. Got the exact same. Thanks for jumping in. Joseph, thank you for jumping in as well. Glad to see you guys in here. Yeah, that tactical's got the same point. They're airspace, and they damage the cards if they're left in there too long. That's what I've seen. I've pulled some out of the older Pokeballs that I've even stored, and I've regretted it. It just ends up damaging the packs, and it's just not good. Let's see. They're still talking about One Piece. Joseph, I have a lot of D21 Pokeball tins. Recently opened a few. Do people prefer buying the single Cosmic Eclipse packs or a sealed Pokeball? They will typically. It's easier to sell the packs in my experience. That's just been my experience. So those D21s, I even pulled all the packs out of there just because I personally thought that they'd be easier to sell those and easier to get the packs, and I did for the ones I sold. But I've been keeping a lot of Cosmic Eclipse now at this point in time. It's just been really, really good at holding. It's been doing really well. Price on it continues to go up even on the singles. And once again, it gets rid of that space, airspace, dead space on my shelf where I could fit more into it. Snowgoon, thank you so much for joining in. Are those Pokeballs behind you tins or are they custom? So the ones here are the Pokeballs themselves. So I just take the Pokeballs and I make the stands myself. So I have a 3D printer and I make the stands. So but yeah, the Pokeballs themselves are just regular store-bought Pokeballs. And then I engineered a stand to hold the Pokeball to make it look like it's opening up with a graded card. So that's just my own little development that I did for my display. Gimbal Slice, any thoughts on Japanese market downturn? Japanese 151 boxes are in the low 150s on TikTok. Yeah. 151, if you can find it for 150s, I feel very comfortable buying that. I'm going to have to take a look, because if they are that low, they were almost $200 just last week. So we were looking at it, because I had a couple people looking at, we were talking about doing some box breaks of 151 Japanese again. And they were they were like 195 on eBay. Let me look. That's the beauty of internet. I can just take a look. Booster box. What do we got? Talk to me, Goose. Yeah, so they're down a little bit. I mean, 186 buy it now. So 193. They're not down too far. I mean, they were around 195. This person's got a whole like shipment of them for 198. So I mean, if they're 150, I mean, right there, if you were to take them and sell right to eBay, you'd be able to get a decent turnaround on them. Do you sell the stands? I actually did sell the stands. I can, if you message me on Instagram, Snowgoon, if you follow my link down there and go to Instagram and just message me, yeah, I've sold them. I've sold them before. I've got a couple people that have purchased them from me. Let's see. I missed some comment. Grim the Nerd. My main concern is people not wanting loose packs due to people weighing and being shady. So that's where we always talk about when it comes down to, even if you're not planning on selling a lot of stuff right now, find stuff to sell. Make your first sales, start building rapport, get those star ratings, build your TCG player accounts, build your, eBay accounts, get those ratings up. Reason being is exactly that. If you have a 5-star rated person, if you have someone with 100% feedback, all these kind of things, you feel more secure buying from those people. And those are typically the people like TCG Player will put you up a little higher. eBay will put you a little higher on the list. And people don't feel, threatened by buying sealed packs from me, especially if you've got a lot of sales, if you've been really maintaining that feedback. Definitely the opportunities that you need to do, whether you're just selling random singles, whether you're going and just making nothing, breaking even a lot of times that's setting yourself up for that futuristic success that you need to have, that opportunity to grow out and be able to sell those loose packs. I have no problem selling loose packs. I absolutely have no trouble selling them. They actually sell really well for me because, once again, I've spent 4 years building rapport. People are secure. People always say, came as expected. Everything looks fine. No resell it or sealed. Open this pack up and then they'll say got the hits. They'll show the hits they get sometimes. Those are definitely important factors. Is just get that feeling for people that they're safe and secure, and grow that rapport, grow that opportunity. Even if you're not selling big items, even if you're not planning on selling and doing quick flip stuff now, making a sales, singles, whatever, start building a rapport, get those review ratings, make sure you follow through. It gives you a good little tester too, to learn how to send cards correctly, how to judge cards, and make sure you're giving what most people are looking for. Now, even me, it's not 100%. I get people all the time that will review and say, it's got a scratch, it's a reverse hollow and it's got a scratch on it, not near mint. And it's like, or, people understand that near mint doesn't mean gradable. That's a hard thing that we have, that I even have when it comes down to selling some cards. They'll buy near mint and they're expecting a gradable card. It's like, it's off center. It's like, that's still near mint. It's just because it's off center doesn't mean that it's not near mint. Let's see. Thoughts on, I'll go to this one first. So Pokey, I got you first. Is it better to sell all modern sealed and buy a vintage booster box, or should I keep my modern boosters, Sword and Shield and Japanese? That's a hard. I mean, once again, it's all up to you, Pokey. I mean, if you like vintage, then go for vintage. If you're doing this as a hobby, you really should be looking at this more for what you want to do. You can tailor this completely up to you. And completely tailor it for what you want to do. So I don't want to tell you to go and sell your modern sealed and buy vintage booster boxes, because, hey, that may not be what you like. If you don't like vintage, don't buy vintage. Personally, I like vintage, but I'm still not going back and buying vintage, or not selling my seal or my modern to buy vintage. I just, to me that time is gone, and I enjoyed it. I loved it, and I still play, so I'm up to date with the newer sets, and I'm enjoying them, and I think that there's some really good opportunity. Overall, if I'm looking at gains and futuristic gains, I could definitely see, modern actually percentage wise doing better than vintage futuristically. Once again, it comes down to that price point. The more expensive something becomes, the less amount of people that can buy that particular item. The normal Pokemon collector, the normal person isn't going to go buy a vintage, Team Rocket box or a first edition booster box anytime soon. They're going to be more likely to go and buy, Sword and Shield base set right now at $250 rather than, a $10,000 Team Rocket unlimited box. It's just the way that it kind of works. So it's really up to you. You tailor the hobby how you want it. You enjoy it how you want when it comes down to the Pokemon hobby. It's all up to you. Hey, Pika Pika, thanks for joining. We're just cruising around here. I figured I was a half an hour late, so we'll run a half an hour long tonight just to make up because I screwed up, or my stream screwed up. Spec God, thoughts on Evolving Skies ETBs from Walmart at $79. They could move up with Evolving Skies booster boxes. If booster boxes are going up this crazy high, ETBs at $70 are definitely not out of the question. I even think last time I checked, weren't they higher than that even on TCG Player? Evolving. Might help if I can spell. I just got TCG Player up, so I might as well check it out real quick. Evolving Skies, Elite. I'm just going to grab the Flareon, Jolteon, Umbreon box. What do we got here? Yeah, they've come down quite a bit because they were up. I was going to say they were all the way up to $121. So, but I have been seeing them show up in some stores again. So, but yeah, last year they've just kind of climbed up and then they spiked. They're right back where they should have been. So if you follow the graph, it's funny because they spiked up to 120 and then they came right back down to 85 where they left off before the spike. So now they're flattening out. So they're $85 right now, $87 on TCG Player. So, I mean, you're getting a little bit of a value on that one. It is expensive, Pika Pika, but I think he's talking about Walmart online. It's not the store. Yeah, they dumped a bunch for $70. So that's why it spiked up to 120. It looks like both of them. I'm looking at the other set too. So if I look at what's the other one? Skyline says Elite. Elite Trainer. What are we at for the other one? So this is a Glaceon, Vaporeon, Sylveon one. Yeah, I did the exact same spike, almost $100. Then it kind of dropped back down. Oh, pretty much fell right back in line for where it left off to now. So if they're still they're about equal, $85, $87 a piece. But yeah, someone's actually just selling. So $70 isn't through Walmart itself. They wouldn't do that. But yeah, it's a person selling on the Walmart site. Let's see. Yeah, I know. Now I'm gonna be looking too for $70. I might go grab a couple of them again. They did have them. I got two. Okay. Everyone should be buying Brilliant Stars booster boxes if you're in the US. In the UK, stock has been disintegrating and it's impossible to find. The sentiment is about to shift in Brilliant Stars now. Exactly, and I've been saying that too. I think once it sells out on Pokemon Center, you're really going to see that set even in English shoot up rather quick. So I'm right with you. I'm not even afraid. I've been buying some of them for breaks and stuff off of what do you call it? Pokemon Center, because they've been $143.99. So TCG Player right now, Brilliant Stars is $170. So you almost got a little bit of a security just by buying them on Pokemon Center to sell them on TCG Player above that 13%. Yeah, talking about that. Okay, let's see. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Walmart Marketplace. Brilliant Stars is literally the next set to take off. If you're thinking of buying, you will easily 3x in four years if you buy it one. Yeah, exactly. I think so. I mean, I talk about that all the time. Watch every set that's sold out on Pokemon Center. Chilling Reign went up $25 in 2 weeks. You're You go to Fusion Strike, went up $30 in 2 weeks. I mean, it's second it sells off on Pokemon Center, it just shoots. Gimbo, it was GT collectibles. They're fine. Yeah. I've seen them quite a few times and they've got good ratings. Sitting on 20 of them. Had to share love, yeah. So, all right. I'm already caught up. Thank you, Spec God. Once again, thank you guys, everybody that's been joining in. Best way not to get scammed, selling booster boxes on eBay. Oh boy. By selling? I don't know how you get scammed by selling on eBay, personally. You mean if you send it and then they cancel somehow or anything like that? I guess I'm not 100% sure what you mean by that one, Spec God. Oh, wow. Videotape yourself packing. Yeah, that's a big one. I always take, so if I'm selling anything expensive, especially, I will videotape it. Even like TikTok, I always take pictures of stuff. So that way you got pictures of everything. So everything I package, take pictures of the item before I package it, take pictures of the packaging, and take pictures of the box before I send it. Just on all the stuff that I send, just because it's a good way just to protect yourself overall. And they do really good. I know eBay does too. If you got good pictures, videos of it, works really well. They don't dispute it then, and then they give you the benefit of the doubt. And Brilliant Stars has way more love than Chilling Rain. Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying is that, you know, Brilliant Stars, even currently on TCG Player, is at 170. So, I mean, what's stopping it? The only thing that's getting any kind of restriction is going to be Pokemon Center. Once it's gone off Pokemon Center, people love the Charizard chase. People love Brilliant Stars. They love the Trainer Gallery. It's got a lot more to offer than, you know, Chilling Rain and Fusion Strike. So, yeah, once it sells out on Pokemon Center, all bets are off on that one. Gimbo Slice, Illustrator Rare Zard. I'm sure it'll be a banger of a set. All the Trainer Gallery sets, even yeah, I think all of them, Silver Tempest and Astral Radiance, are going to be a little bit they're going to be a little bit slacking just because they don't have a strong Trainer Gallery and they really don't have a really strong set. The Silver Tempest, I would go above the Astral just because Lugia's got a little bit more following from Gen 2, a little bit more craze behind it than even the Origin Form Dialga and Palkia and Machamp. I mean, I know Machamp's a Gen 1, but Lugia is a way bigger character in the Pokemon TCG. Loving Skies, Brilliant Stars, Brilliant Stars, and Lost Origins are the top 3 Sword and Shield regular sets. Agreed. I will agree with that one. How much do you buy those? How much did you buy those gym boxes behind you? Would you buy one for $1,000 now? So I bought those behind me for shipped to my place from Japan for $250 a piece. I actually, and people laugh, and this is where you watch other places, and sometimes they have ideas, is PokeNav talked about those a long time ago when they first came out, and I loved them because I am an Evolutions guy anyways, and I purchased 5 of them. So I got 4 of them there, and I got one, wouldn't fit on the shelf comfortably, so I kept that one in the safe, but yeah, I bought those for $250 a piece. And yes, if you can find them for $1,000 right now, I would buy that in a heartbeat because I think they're almost $1,300. Last time I checked, they were around $1,300. So let me check. But yeah, I mean, they're selling on eBay right now, I think, for $1,300. EV Heroes Gym Box. So yeah, they're about $1,400. $13.95 for to buy it now. What do we got for recent sales on that box? I haven't really been paying attention, except for someone else asked me about them. And I looked the other day. So open one, $1,200. So the last one that sold was $1,250, $1,225. Yeah, around $1,150. So around $1,200 they've been selling consistently, and there's a couple outliers that go up to about $1,000 or $1,300. So, no, I just kind of find it funny. People always give PokeNav, but he did have some things that were really good catches. That was a good one. Lost Origins will skyrocket soon. I think so. Thank you for joining. What I say? Thanks for coming in. Yeah, let's see. I got money on Losto over Brilliant. I think we're all split between those two because, like I said, they both have their pros and their cons. Both of them have one strength and one weakness, and it just kind of bounces between the two of them. Fusion Strike is going to have a lot of memory for players. I think Horizon, that's going to be a big part of it, and thanks for joining. Fusion Strike is going to be a dark horse to Evolving Skies because there's a lot of people that like the Genesect and the Fusion Strike deck. I know a lot of people are kind of mad that they're going to have to get rid of their decks because of how powerful and how playable that deck was. So a lot of players have a really big soft spot when it comes down to Fusion Strike, and I think that could be a factor to it in the next few years, as players want to just keep packs or keep sealed product of the set, and maybe search for some of the other cards in there that they want to keep for a collection versus their playing decks, because I can tell you your playing decks don't hold up very well over a few years, that's for sure. OG saying that Tina and the trainer gallery is stacked. Yep. Like I said, it's going to come down to that Tina and, of course, the Devil Pokemon. Always a good driving factor, but I'm on Brilliant Stars a little bit more than I am on Losto, and the only problem is, the only reason I'm going to point that out is just because of the Gen 1 Charizard versus the Gen 3 Tina. I don't know. I don't know if there's as many people that are chasing that Tina as there would be for a Charizard. So the trainer gallery is the benefit on Losto. The Charizard is the benefit on Brilliant Stars. So realistically, they kind of wash each other, and I could see them 5 years being the exact same price. They'll probably mirror each other going up. Dark Horse, I like that. When does Fusion rotate? Fusion rotates April 4th. So Fusion Strike will be out of rotation on April 4th. So we're running out of time. I know this, so at my LCS, this is going to be the last week you could play a Fusion Strike deck. So the Mew decks will finally be retired here this Cup Challenge. So we got a monthly Cup Challenge at our LCS. Not this weekend, not this upcoming Saturday, but the following Saturday. When that Cup Challenge hits, that's going to be the end of the Mew decks. The next month we'll have to go to new regulation decks for the Cup Challenges. Horizon, it also displays really well. I agree. I think it's a really cool box. Once again, it's one of those standoutish boxes. It really does stand out when you look at it. What do I say? Evolving Skies to $1,000 before the end of the year. Your thoughts? I think so. If it continues, either one of two things is going to happen with Evolving Skies at this point. Either A, it's going to continue to stay low stock, and it's going to continue to raise in value really fast. Like we're seeing this beeline up towards heading for 1,000 right now. I mean, we're seeing packs selling for, or booster boxes selling for the upper 700s, almost $800 a booster box right now. So there's been 2 sold at $797, 1 sold at $699. There's 2 sold at $620. There's 3 sold at $777. So we are not far off from hitting that $1,000 already by the course it's going on. So either A, we're going to stay low numbers out there. People will refuse to sell any lower, and this is going to continue to go up to $1,000 here, even possibly by June. B, other scenario, someone brings a pallet or 2, 3, 4 pallets of this stuff that they've been sitting on, thinking that this is going to be a good investment when this thing gets close to $1,000 or hits $1,000. And then we're going to get completely dumped with product, and the price is going to fall like a rock back down to that $500, $600 range. So personally, I think that it could go both ways. Exactly, FOMO. Rudy pulls out his pallets at $1,000 that he got for $72 a booster box and says sayonara, slides them out, and the price drops like a stone for a little bit and then has to recover from it. Granted, you have to realize how many booster boxes you will really need in this market. But when there's only 38 of them listed currently on TCG Player, someone dropping a pallet of these things would be a detriment to that market, because all of a sudden you would flood it comparatively to what it is. Yeah, I don't know, Tactical. At the rate it's going, I don't know if you'll see it at Christmas. That might be here this summer, personally. Exactly. That Tactical is exactly where I'm at. Yeah, he did. Tactical, he lost a big part of his Metazoo position, so I think that he'll be trying to recoup some of that money, and I bet you he's licking his chops right now at Evolving Skies, and you'll all of a sudden see his room of booster boxes cases have a big gap right where Evolving Skies was sitting at some point. Well, thank you so much, Horizon. Greatly appreciated. Technical piece, Rudy, Pika Pika. I'd be interested to see what the Pokemon Company throws at us in the second half of the Scarlet and Violet era. They set the bar so high already. We're gonna get a new rarity. I mean, overall, what are we getting? Why am I drawing a blank? There's a new rarity coming in the next set, and all of a sudden my brain is just like shut off, and I can't remember what it is because it's something from. They went to dang it. Megas are coming back. That's what it is. So we got Mega Evolutions coming back in the next set. So that's the new rarity coming. So we are jumping up in rarity. So that's going to change the chase. It's going to be A-Spec cards. But no, Megas are coming back. From what I understand on the... So, Megas. They went... Which is weird. They should have did Gold Stars. Why didn't they do Gold Stars? God. Very upset that they didn't do Gold Stars. I was really hoping they'd go with Gold Stars with a lowercase EX, but no, then they go with a big EX for grabbing Megas. But yeah, A-Spec cards. I actually played one of them A-Spec cards. It was kind of nice, actually. I had a Pokecatcher that I pulled on the pre-release here this weekend. Worked fantastic. Didn't have to be behind on the on the prize cards, so I could just use it right away. Gimbo, when do you think the bangers? It'll be on the next one. I think the bangers for Scarlet and Violet sets will be the next one when Megas get released. Let's see. New Megas. Yep, we got Megas coming. A-Specs. Yep. Metazoo's toast. Can't say I didn't see. Yeah, we all did. I think, I didn't want to be mean. Yeah, I never was mean about the Metazoo community, and I'm not trying to be mean to the Metazoo community, but it was always a concern to me. If you go back to when Metazoo first released, and I was still upstairs in my kitchen doing this, I was always concerned about Metazoo, that it went right for investors, and you go that route, and it just gets to be, because then players don't get it, and players build your base. You don't get players, and then all of a sudden, when all the investors back out because there's no money to be made because you're printing too much or overprinting stuff, it's going to be a problem. I feel like a lot of these Sword and Shield sets definitely are going to be really good in the next 2 to 3 years. Paldea Evolve. Great set overall. Really, really, really nice artwork in that set. Really good banger set in general. Even Paradox Rift has some really, really good cards inside of there that people just... Scarlet and Violet just is taking its time. It's not the free tendies market anymore where things double overnight. It's going to take a couple years for any of these sets. They're going to have to get closer to going out of rotation. They're going to have to get closer to getting out of stock in places. And once we do, you'll see them going up. I mean, Paldea Evolved is already starting to grow really well. So I bought Paldea Evolved at roughly, what was it, $83 a booster box. So last time I checked, they were at 107. That was a couple days ago. Yeah, they're still about 107. They've kind of flatlined again at 107. But still, if you were buying them at $98, and then if some people had coupons for them that were at like TikTok and that, where you're buying them at like $70, you're already making really, really good value on Paldea Evolved. It's doing really well. So, is that the Pika Pika Papa? Tactical. I wanted a rarity with a... Yeah. That would be cool. Get the Ancient Mew back on a card. That'd be kind of cool, but not on an Ancient Mew. There's so many of them cards out there. It's crazy how many of them promos are out there and available. Do you think there's too many sets dropping too soon? Are people getting exhausted? Gimbo, I don't think so, because the thing is that I know some investors will say that. I've heard a lot of A lot of investing channels say that they're dropping too many sets too fast. This is normal. This has been the normal since the beginning of Pokemon. People don't realize that, is that except for right when WotC was going out, it was 4 sets a year. It's a quarterly release. You usually end up with 4 sets a year. You could go all the way back. You can look at the release dates for every set all the way back to EX, all the way back to even base set. Base set was a rapid release between base set, jungle, fossil, and what was the other one? Dang it, I'm drawing for like. There was base set 2. They pounded it right there with 4 sets really fast. But it's usually 1 set per quarter. That is the average for the Pokemon TCG. The only thing that's changed in the last 10 years is now we get these holiday sets. So typically once a year you get a holiday set inside of there. So this year we got Paldean Fates, but we'll probably get one this year because it was so early in the year. We're going to get one probably in December too. Kind of like we did with Shining Fates getting, we're going to get Celebrations came in later on that time. Pokemon TCG, what's going on? Thank you for joining as we're about to wrap up here. But thanks for joining. Greatly appreciated to have you. Pack Menace, thanks for jumping in also. All Scarlet and Violet Illustrator rares are very low pop at PSA. Yeah, people just don't care about them. So that's going to be a big factor too. Horizon, Scarlet and Violet novelty to me. It is maybe less printed scarcity for higher. I still prefer Sword and Shield because it holds such a strong part of the Pokemon history given the booming in time. And I agree. I think that that's going to be a really good opportunity for Sword and Shield, is just because it got burned through a lot of product. People still love it. The alternate art chases are there. There's some really great opportunities for these particular sets futuristically. So overall, definitely some good things in those particular sets. Pac Menace with Horizons coming out, I feel like Spaghetti-O is going to be like the new Pikachu. They are kind of seeming to push that a little bit. That's just what I've been seeing is that that's my favorite one out of the 3 starters now. I've been really on to that one as my favorite starter for the for Scarlet and Violet, and even my Pokemon Go and everything like that, I've been using it quite a bit. So I actually do like that one personally. Let's see. We're going to go... iFOMO. Did you see the Lugia V alternate art is 125? Tell Mason I won't let him ruin my card. Did it go back up to 125? I knew it bottomed out and kind of came back up. Like I said, trying to keep up with everything every single day and every single live is nearly impossible. Yeah, it's 150. It's gone back up. Has it bottomed out about 110 there, so I didn't think that card would stay low for very long. It isn't as easy to pull as some of the early alternate arts for sure. Or like the VMAXs. There's tons of VMAXs out there. What I say, Cosmic Eclipse is climbing. Good set, which I bought when cheap. Yeah, exactly. I bought a lot of them through the D20. I bought a couple booster boxes of it just because I wanted it back. And like I said, it's a great set. Cosmic Eclipse is a goated set too. Just got off work at 11 p.m. I think they are lowering print rates. I think that they're really starting to crack down on the amount of print runs. So it's definitely going to be a big change when it comes down to the overall. Let's see. So like I said, I'm going to get down to Pika Pika's message here, and then I'm probably going to have to call it quits. I hear my wife's walking around, so I'm going to have to call her a night. Let's see where we at. They changed the narrator in the show, and he's really well. That's good. I haven't watched the new ones at all, so I don't know what they. I've been having a hard time going into the new animes personally, just because it's not Ash and Pikachu. I'm having a hard time with that conundrum in my own head, personally. All 3 of my daughters, I like it. I mean, out of the starters, that's my favorite. I know my daughter loves it. My son actually likes it too. It's better than the other 2 starters, personally. It's more realistic than, the dancing peacock and The fire lizard, whatever that thing is Pika Pika Pop in the chat. He's another YouTube channel I love to watch. No, he's not. I haven't seen him here. Trying to catch up. So yeah, we're gonna be calling it quits right now. Anyone else see the potential of investing in booster bundles, or am I missing? I have a ton of booster bundles. I love them, especially specialty sets. Pokemon 151, Paldean Fates. You can go through all the specialty sets. Crown Zenith, the 6-pack bundles, all of them are just fire to have. I think that they are probably my favorite inexpensive investment that you can buy. Because if you can buy these things usually early on too, you can get them really, really cheap. Yeah, great turnout. Thank you, everybody. I think the later time helps too. But yeah, thank you, everybody. Once again, make sure you guys hit that like button too before you leave. If you've been sitting in here, helps out a lot to get them likes out there. I mean, we've had a total of almost 200 people view this tonight, which is freaking fire for my just being at a live. Yeah, I haven't watched, like I said, I haven't watched the new anime yet for Pokemon. I can't get past Ash, so at some point I'm gonna just break the mold and do it. It's just I gotta work up to it. It's like one of those emotional things, 25 years of Ash and Pikachu, and I know Ash is supposed to be making an appearance here, so I'm a little excited. So maybe if that's the case, I'll have to get back into it. So yeah, that's just it. I bought those. I bought the bundles. So I've got Lost Origins, got Silver Tempest. I bought those both around $16 to $17 for a case. The case has 25 in it. So yeah, I've got 2 cases of each of those specialty sets. So I've got 1 case of Pokemon 151. I got 1 case of Paldean Fates because they never really went that cheap. And then I got a bunch of the Scarlet and Violet ones too. I've been buying 1 case of each because they're like same thing. They're like $16 a case for each in a case. Pokemon going to pull a days. Yeah, pull the days of our life. Comes out of a coma. Ash comes out of his coma and is rejoining the Pokemon world for the first time in a couple years. Let's see what Ash does with Pikachu. Wright was watching the Rattle Pokemon about investing in Modern. So much negative coming from him. I stopped watching him now. Yeah, I mean, I like Rattle. I mean, I have no problem against Rattle. It's just negativity in general is just growing so much. I mean, people can sit there and bash Modern all they want. As long as you're safe and you continue to just think about it a little bit, definitely helps out a ton when it comes down to your investment. Just don't overextend yourself. It's a fun investment. It's a hobby. Enjoy it as a hobby. If you're just here for money, you're never going to be successful in this hobby long term. It's good for a quick turnaround and that's it, but it's not going to be a long-term thing if you're not enjoying it. I enjoy Pokemon, so it really doesn't make a difference. If I had to rip a bunch of packs so they're not successful, it is what it is. So anyways, guys, I'm going to call it a night. Once again, thank you guys, everybody that's joined. If you enjoy the lives and if you enjoy the channel too, I always put this at the end. Considering hitting that membership, we're almost up to 10, which would be allowing me to open up some more emojis too and be able to do some fun things. So definitely consider hitting that membership. There's the emoji one or the other one, whichever one you would prefer. But once again, guys, thank you, everybody. I'm going to go catch my wife now. She's done with her live, and I've pushed way into overtime tonight for you guys. So thank you, everybody, once again for joining in. Great turnout overall. Thank you, everybody that's hung out and chatted, got some really good comments, some really good discussion. And once again, if you haven't seen the beginning, you just jumped in now, go ahead, jump back and watch the beginning, talking about the kind of the darker side of the Pokemon, some of the things that need to be said that a lot of times even us PokeTubers don't like to talk about in general. We like to put it under the rug and act all happy, and sometimes it's not that way. So definitely check out the beginning if you haven't seen it. And once again, thank you, everybody that's been here tonight. Overall, a lot of fun. Hopefully you guys will have some fun. And then a new time, 9 p.m. Central Time from now on. Now that I got to make sure I don't get in a mobile mode somehow. I don't know how I did that, but otherwise we'll be here 9 p.m. Central Time now all the way up until time change here this fall, just so everybody's aware. So it'll be all summer that we'll be here at 9. So otherwise, guys, thank you, everybody. Make sure you guys hit that like button before you leave. Greatly appreciated. And as always, we'll see you next time here on Northwoods TCG.